Hey guys, and welcome to episode 49, baby, of Dad Knows Best. I am one of your hosts, Harrison Mudge, father of one beautiful little boy, and to my right, full of pep, full of beans, Adam Callow, father of two, on the mics. How's it going? I told you I was bringing the fire.
I can't do this today. Not with your energy. You're like one of my kids when they come up with me with so much energy, and I'm like, just not. And I've got a pounding headache as well today, and your intro does not help the cause. I'm good, man. Overall, really good.
And on that note, see you next time. Now, for anyone that's new to the show, listening or watching, this is just a show where you know what's funny? I actually saw where you described this show, and it was like 2 friends, 3 kids. And I thought a good way to describe the show is 2 friends, 3 kids, and a whole bunch of banter.
There you go. I like that. Why did I describe it like that?
I think it's in the footer of an email.
Oh, is it? Nice.
I saw it. I thought, oh yeah, we can work with that. We can work with that. So yeah, we go back. We got kids. We have a chat. Anyone that watched or listened to the show last week will have heard my father on the mics, big old Mark Mudge.
Oh, is that out?
It's out. Obviously, an avid subscriber of the show.
The thing is, I am a subscriber, but
but you just turned off downloads and you just don't listen.
No, mate,
I get it. You want the optimum listening and viewing experience. So
I'm on the damn show, so I subscribe. Obviously, download numbers. But I subscribe. I ignore every notification.
Doesn't help my
about
retention numbers though.
I'm sorry, but I'll listen to that on the drive home. Actually,
So we just went.
How long?
We were on for about an hour, and it's tricky because I felt like we could have just talked and talked and talked. So we didn't. I tried to knock it on the head. But we spoke just about like the births and what that was like, working with kids and
Your
stuff.
dad's got an infectious laugh. Does he laugh much on it?
I'm not sure.
He's got an infectious laugh.
We had a good time. I think he enjoyed it as well.
He's got a very infectious laugh.
One of the things we sort of finished that episode with was a question that listener and viewer Alex, you may know, he wanted to ask my dad was what it was like.
Oh, Mustang Alex.
Mustang Alex, yes, Mustang Alex. I'm sure it'll cut right out. For anyone that doesn't know him, they won't get that. But he asked a question of ask him what it was like to have multiple kids, dealing with them all. Something I want to just jump off of this week, because you actually made a comment to me. Sorry, you said to me what you were doing when you went home one evening. It was like, I've got to get home for Reggie because he goes to bed, and then I've got to spend some time with Riley.
Yep.
So I wanted to sort of talk to you about what it's like sharing time between the kids, sharing the kids. I don't know whether you split it between the parents, between the two of you, things like that. So like, do you allocate a certain amount of time to the boys, or do you allocate them to each boy? What's your technique, bro?
Public service announcement. Not sure if I'll do it right, but just saying it as it is.
By the way,
the whole show.
I'm just gonna have that like scrolling across the bottom the whole time.
Yeah.
All pop tips and advice. They come with
use at your own risk.
Use your own discretion. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I know what I do now, and I'm trying to work out if I've changed it recently. No, it's been fairly consistent, probably for the last year and a bit. I guess take us back just over a year and a half. I didn't put time in my calendar specifically for family stuff.
Yep.
Because I kind of thought my calendar's for work, and everything around that is family time or just sleep.
So as in like you've got meetings from 9 to 5, and then there's nothing else in the calendar because you just allocate into family.
9 to 5, meh. But yeah,
the
exactly.
working window was in your calendar, but family time wasn't because, well, why would it need to be? Because it's
exactly.
Yeah. Okay.
And then actually through coaching, he was like, he literally was like, just fire up your calendar. Let's have a look at what your weeks look like. And this was after we actually went through like what's important to me, what I care about. And he was like, why is none of the stuff that you really care about in your calendar? And I'm like, what do you mean? And we went through the whole process. So then I changed my habit, which was I started to put basically everything in my calendar. Like if you look at it today, it tells me when I'm working out, when I'm traveling.
I can tell what you're having for dinner.
When I'm having to work. Yep. You actually can.
I know. There's no surprise in your life.
So I put everything in my calendar now, but what that allows me to do is put in like what I call non-negotiables. So every night, regardless of where I am. So historically, before COVID, I was doing a lot of travel for work, just meetings and stuff like that. So even if I was in like a dinner with a client or something like that, at 6:45, it was like 15 minutes to speak to the boys if I was away. So wherever I am, so I call up, have a good chat. And then I started to move that to have like that was like a group chat with the boys that then I would say goodnight. But now what I do is still have that time on the calendar. So from a bedtime perspective, they go to bed at different times. So we like to spend 10, 15 minutes before bed just chatting, trying to speak to them like a little adult. How's your day going? Yep. And then I kind of have time for the boys. And I actually, for the life of me, can't remember who advised it. It might have even been Stephen May, to be honest. Every time I think of like, what's the source of wisdom that's coming from? Like, his name just popped
Stephen.
up. Which is like dedicate time, solo time, just with that one child. Okay. Which I found has been incredibly important and really helpful. So the way that I operate with the kids basically is time with the boys, family stuff, doing stuff, walk in park, stuff like that. But they both need solo focus on them at different times. So I'll do an activity with Reggie, and then when Riley comes over, I'm like, hey, like I might be in Reggie's room playing Lego with him or something. And when Riley comes upstairs, sometimes it's like, yeah, join in, we'll play. But sometimes I'm kind of like, I will take Reggie, chuck him in the car, and we'll go for a walk, or we'll go to McDonald's.
Sorry, is that when Riley comes up and wants to play Lego and you're like, nah, chuck the kid and go?
No, I mean, like, sometimes, and it's much easier with Riley just because of his age, because I guess we can just do more stuff and it's easier. You can just jump in and we can just go. But I started to kind of do activities with them, not just like in the house, but start to go out and do individual activities with them. And it creates like a daddy and me time, which is, I think, is really important for them, to make sure they feel they get an attention.
What's the how'd you tell the other one that you're playing with? How'd you tell Riley that you're playing with Reggie?
Yeah, that's why I started to get out the house, because it kind of gets difficult, because you kind of go into it with like, cool, Reggie, let's spend some time together. Let's go. What do you want to do? Let's go and play with some Lego. Let's go do this. And then when Riley like hears us having so much fun, he's like, I want some of that.
Of course.
So in the house, I kind of like stopped trying to like keep the separation.
So you just do boys?
Just do
together.
boy stuff. Yeah. Okay. And Riley, like right now, Riley might just want to sit and play Fortnite. So he ain't playing with Lego right now.
You're thinking, I got to play Warzone.
Exactly, yeah. Reggie, come watch me. Hey, activity. You can watch me play this.
Watch Daddy try and snipe people.
Yeah. So the activities outside of the house is when I really got my alone time with them. And it's amazing how much they light up. Like, it's one to get their attention, but it's that bonding, and little things like, here's a good example actually. So one of the things me and Riley used to do is get the ball, go across the park and play rugby. So he was learning to play rugby. He was doing rugby at the weekends. And it was through that experience of spending more time with him and having grown-up conversations with him that he sort of let me know that there's this kid at school that he just doesn't like, and he feels like he's not being bullied, but he feels like this guy's just a little bit mean.
Just picking on him, sort of thing.
Not really directly him, to be honest. He's just a dick. He's just a dick. So we had a good conversation about that. And then, like, how... Because one of the things he did was sort of, like, not shove Riley, but he put his hands on him, basically. So then I, like, trained him, like, taught him, like, you don't let anyone put your hands on you, sort of thing. But it allowed Riley to open up.
Was it like the block with the left and throat strike with the right?
Throat strike with the right. And then when they go down to the knees, back of the head with the hands into the kneecap.
Jesus.
And then go tell Miss Middleton.
big old disclaimer.
No, it was just sort of like, you never get physical with them, but you also never let someone put your hands on you. There's that barrier. Let's not go into that one today. But because I spent that time just with him, it creates like a really meaningful conversation and a relationship. That time's been really precious for me, and I'm always looking to do more of it and prioritize it more and more. Like, here's a great example. Let me just open up my calendar. So today's date, first, at 2:45 today, I'm doing Coder Kid with Riley for an hour. So he's learning to code, and I promised him that I would spend because he's doing coding 6 days a week. So Sarah's doing 3 sessions with him, and I'm doing 3 sessions with him. So
it sounds like Sarah needs a lesson on the platform, because every call I've heard, she's like, I don't know how you save it. I don't want to close the tab.
Yeah, she needs some training, but that's like a great example of like that's something that me and Riley do. It's great for him. He's really enjoying it. It's educational. It's coding. It's I personally just think it's good for him.
What was his new game? Because I know he did the jumping dog. What was the second one?
The one he did yesterday was one where you might have seen actually on the screen where he clicks a cat that's flying about, and then the cat gets smaller. So it's like a game where it gets smaller and smaller and smaller.
It's like a skill game.
It's like a skill game. So he's doing that. But that's an example of like putting time in the calendar, which is important. Yeah, that's how I do it, really. Does that answer your question? I don't feel like I've answered your question.
I guess. So you're separating the time with them, but how are you allocating how much time and stuff like that, or is it just like I've got an hour and a half, 45 a piece, or like what's your technique?
Yeah, so
and also
it might be different now just because of COVID, to be honest.
Yeah, I imagine it's very different right now. But also I wanted to ask as well is Sarah is obviously with them both right now, all day long. Rewind pre-COVID or fast forward after COVID, whatever. Did she and does she do the same principles of I'm going to spend a bit of time with Reggie, a bit of time with Riley, or does she not have to worry about ticking that box because she's the mom and she seems to always spend a lot of time with them anyway?
No, she did it, but it was sort of by design, by default. They're polar opposites, so I'm not entirely sure which one it is. Let me explain. You can choose.
I mean, you can design a default.
So, because Riley's at school and Reggie goes to preschool, Reggie was never at preschool on a Wednesday. So Sarah always used to call that her like Reggie day. So they would get to do stuff together as just them. And the way that Sarah thinks about it specifically is when Reggie was very young, or even not even here, she'd have really quality time with Riley when he was 2, 3, and spending really engaged quality time, long periods together. And she doesn't want to miss out on like the essence of Reggie's childhood. So she's trying to make sure that she doesn't basically just miss that. So it feels like right now the way that she thinks about time is we've got family time. And on the Wednesday was like the childhood Reggie time. That's probably how she splits it because she's around them all the time. That's sort of what she does. I guess an interesting question as well is, or a topic, is because she's around them all the time. We kind of did this thing which was like, let me do something with the boys at the weekend so she can be away from them for a bit. Just so she gets some time away. Because like you say, especially right now, like she's plugged in. We actually had a conversation on this last week is she's kind of going like crazy right now because she's like, be interested to know what Em's going through.
Yeah, Emmy's kind of sort of going through the same. She's just
loves them to bits, but fuck me. Like,
well, so Elliot's got this thing. I don't know if I've said it on the show before, but it's like he's riding a bike. He'll be like, but it's like it's not a full blown cry, but it's just enough of a whine.
Oh, he's not doing the hand gestures with it.
Oh yeah. So he'll sit in his chair and he's like,
okay.
But it's like he's not upset, because if he was upset, he'd be like, okay, what's the problem? Let's solve it. But he's just there like mizzing, just like making this noise. So like,
don't worry. By the time he gets to 30, he does that, but just quietly, just represents it on his face all day.
So at least it doesn't bother you though if you don't look
exactly,
at it.
Headphones.
But so sometimes I'll get home, I'm like, oh, how's your day been, babe? And she's like, he has not stopped making a noise. Like, and they just like demand attention more on one day than they do another. But I think Emmy just needs some time away from the house and the baby.
Yeah, it's just
which is
that's like a very specific now thing. But I agree, it's super tough. I couldn't do it. I guess one thing about the kids' time thing is like, if I don't put it in my calendar, it don't happen, and then I beat myself up about it after I review my calendar afterwards.
How strict are you on timings, time slots, things like that? Like, do you say, 6 till 7,
a time
but
slot,
if you don't get back from work till 6:30, you just do 6:30 till 7:30, or you're like, I need to be back.
Do you know
for
what's interesting
6.
is Sam. I've kind of learnt a lot from Sam in the last couple of weeks, months, but specifically in the last few weeks. I normally beat myself up over like black and white. It's like it's like it has to be this. It's on or off sort of thing. So now what I kind of do is like with this. Let's say I've got my calendar to be with the boys from like 6 till 7, and if I don't get back until 6:30, I'll say, well, it is what it is today. I'm still getting to spend time with them, but let's just try and not let this happen again. Like, what could I have done differently? Probably could have set off from work a little bit earlier. Those couple of things probably didn't need to get done today. I probably just was procrastinating some stuff that dragged on in the day. Do you know what I mean? It's like, don't beat yourself up. That's the biggest thing for me, is like being really, like being hard on yourself for it. There's no benefit. Making changes for the future, loads of benefit. So now what I try and do is just be a bit more. It's that thing we're talking about with work, is like not to be so judgmental on a really short time frame. So it's like, and I think that's one of my faults. So it's like being really judgmental on a short time frame. It's just not healthy. So now I'm like, take the time frame bigger. This week, this month, have I spent enough time with the boys to the point where I feel like I'm satisfied and they're satisfied and we're all happy and it's good. So yeah, that's what I think about it. So especially with the time in my calendar, it's never like bang on. Weirdly, actually, when I'm away, it is bang on, because it literally comes through on my phone, and I use it as to whoever I'm with. I'm really sorry, but I always say goodnight to my boys at this time. I've just got to step out and make a quick phone call.
Yeah, it's easy when you're like, if you're away, for example, you're not in the normal routine of a working day or whatever. It's very easy to just be like, well, you know what, I'm just going to sort of work all day into the evening and stuff, and because you just, I don't know, even if you just like on emails, or because you've got no hard stops, you've not like your office isn't shutting when you're meeting people around the country, is it? Like, no. You can have a late meeting, you can have a late dinner, there's no deadline. So I guess it's a nice way to give yourself some structure. Forcing factor
there's trigger. So yeah, that's sort of like the time thing for me, to be honest. I would probably recommend, I use it as an opportunity to recommend The 60-Minute Father to people. I think it was a fantastic book that helped me out a little bit.
Yeah, I really need to read that. I might. You know what?
You're not ready yet.
You know what? For everyone listening and watching, I'm going to make a note right now. I'm going to buy that book. I'm going to buy it on Amazon.
Nice.
For anyone that wants a book. No, I will. You know what? I'll read it before I say anything about it, and then if I deem it worthy, I'll review the book.
Review it. Bring it on the podcast. I'd love to talk to you about it. It made a lot of impact on me.
60-Minute Father. I remember looking this up before as well, because there's like I think there's even 60-Minute Mother, and is there like 60-Minute Boss, or is it like a theme or something?
Yeah, I think there's 3. Start with The 60-Minute Father. Just a great book that I would personally...
It's not very thick though, is it?
No, it's an easy read. It's an easy read. Quite impactful. It's just a book that I would personally give if any of my friends... I was going to say,
odd laugh.
I was going to say, if any of my friends like became like a father, this is the book I'd gift to them. And I think
I'm a bit too late.
I think I just told you about it. But yeah, I think it's impactful. I think it's definitely worth a read. Time's hard. Like, dedicating time is hard. I guess with every parent's, the excuse you always tell yourself as a parent is, I can't make tonight, or I can't make dinner. I'm working really hard to build a future that makes us all really happy. So I'm working for the boys now so they can enjoy a better future. Whereas one of the key things in like The 6-Minute Father is when your kids, this was the thing that stood out for me, when your kids are 32 years old and they're thinking about what their childhood was like, they're thinking about the childhood. They're not thinking about the laptops, the Xboxes, the PlayStations. They're thinking about the memories that were created. And it kind of hit me at the right time, because obviously I lost my dad last year, and I'm like, cool. When I think about that, I didn't think about any materialistic shit, the house, the nothing. All the memories were what I think about. So then it's sort of like every dad's fear really is to be distracted and then regret not having those memories, and putting just stuff in the calendar to prompt you, just as a reminder. Because what it does to me is I see it in the calendar and it just reminds me, like, yeah, that is really important to me. And then I go and do it. Yeah,
the one thing. So we're going to the zoo tomorrow. So
nice.
That'd be nice with the family.
It'd be fucking weird seeing an elephant with a mask on, though, wouldn't it?
It's a big sog. So that'll be nice. But yeah, like it's very easy to be in the room clock, like running the clock up on
Yeah, yeah.
time, but not being present. So something something I try and just be aware of is like phone in hand. Maybe I should just put it down and like eyes on the child and stuff like that. So and I'm not saying I'm perfect, definitely not, but I think even if you can just kind of get into the rhythm of thinking, am I focused on the task at hand right now, which is spending time with the boy? Like at the moment, he's still super young. He's nearly crawling, but not quite yet. So we put him down on a mat. We've got a new playmat thing. First impressions video going up actually soon.
Nice.
But we've got a playmat thing so he can roll around, play with his toys and things like that, and I just sit there with him. But it's very easy to like just have your phone up and like glancing up. Is he still upright? Or is he face plant at the floor? Okay, best pick him up. So yeah, it's just like little things to just maybe look at the kid, even though he's not super engaged right now, doesn't really know what's going on.
But what I have to do with stuff like that is I have to like build. I think building like habits is really important. So little things like I every morning now at like 6 till 6:30 I like get up, have a coffee, plan my day. 6:30 till like 7:15. So I used to wake up, look at my phones and just work out what the day looked like. But I realised that's someone else planning my day for me. Because if I've got WhatsApps, inbox, whatever, that's someone else telling me what's important to them and then trying to jam it into my day. Fuck that. That's how I used to. That's how I used to act. I don't do that now. I take control of my day. So I kind of go down. I'm like, okay, cool. 6 or 6:30 is me. Don't take my phones. Nothing. Just me. Notepad, calendar. Cool. 6:30 till like 7:15 now. I'm with the boys. So I start the day with like, regardless of what shit goes on today, I've spent 45 minutes in the boys in the morning and it sets me off on the right tone.
Yeah, we do. We're still doing that in the morning as well. We Emmy more than me, and I'll make this clear because she slated me the other week when she listened to a show and she's like, "You still not pulling your weight?" So I'm sorry, babe. I do try though. I'm just so tired. But we spend the morning in bed. So we get up at 6:37 by the time we're all awake, and we'll all sit in bed and we'll have a coffee and that. We'll watch TV for like 45 minutes, watch the news. I've gone to BBC News now because it's less intense
Drama.
I'm getting sick and tired of Piers Morgan.
Full stop.
It used to be entertaining, like this guy's absolutely unhinged.
Yeah, but
now it's like I'm thinking, I realise I don't think he's starting my day off right. I need a little bit less drama. I just want the TV on with the clock in the corner, really. That's what I'm putting the news on for.
I was like chasing dodos on an iPad this morning with Reggie. Best start to the morning. Past the level.
That crack addiction is getting out of control. Dear, we'll leave it there. But yeah, no, interesting. I look forward to.
There's a few things in there, and I think if you're I guess my question is I'm always looking to hear how other parents get over that guilt, because it's so present all the time, which is because you always think I need to be doing more with the boys. I always need to be doing more, and you kind of stop. So if you're listening to this right now, like, how do you feel about spending time, especially if you either run your own business or in a fairly demanding job? And this isn't to take away people that work the 9 to 5. The people that work the 9 to 5, I think, probably have more of a chance of getting this right mentally. For me, even you, like, because you work so close to this business and we've got loads of things going on, it's really tough. So would love to hear how the listeners of this show get on with that process of managing time, dealing with the guilt, and just making sure you don't get 10 years down the road and go, I really wish I spent more time with my kids. That's the fucking most devastating statement in the world, so I just want to make sure I avoid it. Get in touch, guys. You can email dadknowsbest@nbs.fm, or you can leave a comment if you're watching this on YouTube. But whether you're listening or watching, you always forget about that camera. It's not just for show, you know. But if you're watching or listening, don't forget to subscribe, hit the like button, comment, subscribe, like, share, comment again. Fuck it. Come to the studio. Come to the studio. Hey, we've got space for 2 more mics, guys. We've got some new tech coming, guys. Get involved. Cool. See you next time.